So you gonna shachel it, or?
Well, I will. Do you want to help?
Sure. So much of what we learn in the kitchen comes from the women who raised us. And like many of the people I've visited so far this season, it's not from the exact measurements, but through doing. I really lead with my nose. My nose tells me what's good, and this smells really good. That's the perfect bite right there. Hi, I'm Julianne, but you can call me Jewel. And this is Jewel's Armenian Kitchen. The recipes of my childhood are beginning to fade with time, so I'm on a mission to learn the secrets and stories behind great Armenian home cooking, the way it's always been passed down in family kitchens, right here in the Central Valley. I'll learn how these proud Armenian families built their version of the American dream in ways you won't find written down anywhere else. And I'll be stepping right into their kitchens to see how it's really done. There'll be great food and a few unexpected moments along the way. We're gonna have a delicious time.
Production funding for Jewel's Armenian Kitchen is provided by Fowler Packing Company. 3 generations of family farming in California's Central Valley, bringing Peel citrus and Sampson's grapes to families nationwide. More information at fowlerpacking.com. Ohanians of Fresno. For more than 40 years, Ohanians has preserved Armenian culinary traditions through handcrafted products rooted in heritage, quality, and craftsmanship. What began in the Central Valley is now shared nationwide. For more information, visit ohanians.com.
I arrived with hugs, a little something sweet for my hostess, and a lot of excitement because today we're making cabbage dolma. Dolma is one of those dishes you'll find across so many cultures, each with their own versions on how to make it. Some are wrapped in grape leaves, some in cabbage, and today we're making the Armenian version Agnes learned from her mom. And this felt like the perfect home to make it in, because my hostess comes from a family whose breads and crackers have been shared at tables far beyond the Central Valley. Today I'm cooking with Agnes Saghatelian, the 3rd-generation president of Valley Lahvosh, an over 100-year-old Armenian bakery based in downtown Fresno. You may know her family from their pita bread and those famous heart-shaped crackers. But today, it only felt right that we made something close to home and even closer to the heart. All right, tell me how to make your mom's cabbage dolma.
Okay,
All right.
so this is a recipe that we've been using for years and years and years. I inherited it from my mom. And so the meat mixture is really kind of the star of everything. And you can use this meat mixture for things like vegetables or with grape leaves. Mm-hmm. And I'm using cabbage. It'll be cabbage dolma today.
And I've never worked with cabbage.
Okay.
And I've always wanted to learn what to do with cabbage. Yeah. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome.
All right, break it down.
So we'll start with our meat.
Okay.
I use half ground lamb and then half ground sirloin.
So good.
Yeah. So I get the meat and then I just drop it into the bowl after washing my hands.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. So that's the ground lamb. This is the ground sirloin.
And did your mom also use half and half mixture?
She did. Yes, she did. Yeah.
I'm really excited to talk more about her as today goes on.
Oh, definitely.
The amazing, lovely Janet Saghatelian.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm very, very grateful to have the recipe. And whenever I cook this, in my kitchen smells like her kitchen. It just brings back really great memories.
Yes.
Yeah. Before I start with the other ingredients, I am going to put the cabbage into the pot so they can start to cook and start to boil.
Okay.
All right, so what I've done is I take 2 heads of cabbage, I wash them, and then I core out the center part.
Okay.
So I just cut around that center core, and then I pull that out.
Oh.
Yeah, so I leave that out, and I do that with both of them. So I just cut around the core, take out that piece.
All right.
And then so you're left with an opening here, which helps the water go in and soften up the cabbage.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll put one into one boiling pot of water.
I don't know why, but in my mind I thought you had to separate the leaves and then put it in, but it tells you the extent of my cabbage knowledge.
So yeah, I get the water boiling ahead of time, and it really doesn't take that long for those to soften up.
Okay, like maybe 10 minutes or
Yeah.
so? Okay.
Yeah, so
right.
we'll check that in a little bit. So then once I put the meat in, I've measured everything out.
Okay.
So it calls for, the recipe in the book calls for a handful. So everything was measured rather than like a cup or a half a cup.
Yes.
It was a handful. So that's a handful of fine bulgur.
Okay, and it looks like half a cup, or a third a cup. Okay.
So pour that in. And then the same thing with some white rice.
Okay, a handful.
So a handful of white rice, and drop that in. And then 1 whole onion, finely chopped, or even maybe grated, so it's really, really fine, not too chunky.
Right, you don't want to have a bunch of chunks in your dolma.
No, so we'll drop in
Okay,
the onion.
very nice.
And then some fresh chopped basil.
Oh.
And it just smells so, so good. So that's the, yeah, so drop in the fresh chopped basil, chopped up fine. And then chopped flat leaf parsley.
Okay.
Yes. So I've got some flat leaf parsley. And then we use some seasonings.
Okay.
And Mom always used seasoned pepper and seasoned salt. That was always like a staple in our house.
Mine too, growing up.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So good old Lowry seasoned pepper.
Yep.
So she would always say generously seasoned. So I do. So there's the pepper. And then Lowry seasoned salt.
Would she make this just for special occasions or kind of any time?
You know, she would make it anytime she was craving it.
Oh, okay. Well, that works.
For special occasions, and then also sometimes she would just be craving some dolma, and so she would make it. And we would make it both with the cabbage and the grape leaves. So that was always fun. Whenever we made it with the grape leaves, she taught me how to rinse them out. You know, 'cause sometimes they can be kind of salty.
Yeah.
And so we would sit at the table and roll the yalachi, the grape leaves like that. So yeah, so anytime she got a craving. So that is for the seasonings. Oh, and then a dash of cayenne pepper.
Yeah.
To give it a little, she would say make it a little gudzu, which is like spicy hot.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily temperature hot, but a couple dashes. So I think I'm trying not to do too much. I'll do one. Oh, okay.
Did she speak Armenian a lot?
She spoke beautiful Armenian. So she spoke Armenian to her siblings. I don't know how to speak. She didn't speak it, like my uncles and aunts didn't really speak it to their kids.
Yeah.
You know, me being one. My mom didn't speak it to me, but they spoke beautiful Armenian.
Yeah.
So she would kind of interject Armenian words
here and there
into things that, you know, whether she was cooking or talking. Okay, so then 1 egg beaten goes in. So crack the egg.
Huh, I don't think I've seen egg in dolma before. Secret ingredient.
Yeah, so we do the egg. Pour that in.
Interesting.
So then we put in tomato sauce. So put in some into the mixture, and then we'll put in a little bit more when we do the broth.
Topping?
Yeah.
Oh, for the broth, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so good old-fashioned churchki, is that what they call these?
I don't think I've seen one of those in a while, actually.
Yeah. So let's see.
Church key.
So I pour a little bit of this.
Lovely.
Okay.
It's kind of giving meatloaf in a way.
A little
right?
bit, yeah. So, and usually at this point, then I check the book to make sure that I've got all the ingredients, because I never want to forget anything. And so this is the cookbook that I use. So when my mom, she created this cookbook for me when I got married. And so it's a lot of different family recipes. And so I'm very, very grateful to have this recipe. So I just go through everything, got everything in there.
I love an old cookbook. And seeing Agnes's face light up as she shared something so dear to her, and seeing the notes left by her mom, well, this reminded me that even recipes can carry so much of a person. I love this tagline, heirloom recipes for a delicious start to their married life.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, your mom was poetic.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have all these recipes now.
I would think so. Wow, this is awesome.
So now all the ingredients are in, and now is when we mix everything.
Okay.
Yeah, and so my mom would always say, now we need to shachel. So again, mixing in those Armenian words that just mix it all together. So just get our hands dirty, just mix it all up, and then after that, then we'll be ready to check on the cabbage and see if it's soft enough to roll.
So you're going to shachel it? Or?
Well, I will. Do you want to help?
Sure.
Okay, you can help. Yeah, we both can. You know, it's like an experience. So
Okay. So before we mix, I know we were chatting a little bit and you told me this word that your mom uses.
Yes,
In fact, my mom would say kakel, which was to ruin it. But I think it's probably, now I'm thinking it's probably kachel. And I don't know what, I'm sorry if I've said something horribly offensive on the TV, but you say, kids, don't kachel it, don't kachel it.
Oh, interesting.
Because I knew that as a child that meant, don't mess it up.
I see. Okay. Well,
So anyway,
yeah,
but we're gonna shachel it, not kachel it.
Right. Yes, we are going to mess this up. We're going to mess it up. Yeah. So,
All right, so who's gonna do it, you or me?
okay. Well,
You want me to dive in?
I want you to
Okay,
try it.
all right.
So yeah, because that way you'll know
Okay,
how to do it when you
okay.
make this on your own.
All right, okay,
Yes,
here I go.
Yes, you just squeeze and just keep squeezing and turning it and mixing it.
Okay, squeeze, turn.
Yep, so
And
all the
mix.
ingredients get mixed together.
Thank you for encouraging me. How does this look? Is
That
it
looks
shock-held enough?
I think it is. It looks fantastic.
It smells divine. I want to eat it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you did great.
There it is.
Yes,
Okay.
wonderful.
Wonderful.
Great
Okay, I'm
job.
going to give my hands a wash.
Okay.
Or am I doing more shock-helling?
No, we're not doing any more chocolate.
All right, I'm going to
We will get our hands dirty when we start rolling the
Okay.
cabbage, but for now you're
All right.
good.
All right. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
Okay, here I go. Now that my hands were clean, the cabbage had softened enough for Agnes to pull off the larger leaves and line the bottom of the pot, which helps keep the dolma from burning as it cooks. For the filling, Agnes mixed ground sirloin and lamb with rice, bulgur, onion, fresh herbs, seasoning, tomato sauce, and 1 beaten egg to bring everything together. Then it was time to roll. Agnes trimmed the thick stem, added the filling, tucked in the sides, and rolled each one nice and snug. Oh, it looks so, you make it look so easy. Can I try one?
Of course, of course.
That
and
looks
then,
great.
Yeah, then we'll start
And then
a
we-
row, and we start a row going one direction, and then we'll put it another row going the other direction.
Okay,
Yeah.
crisscross, you don't stop. Okay, so here we go. I don't know what that was. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here we go. So eyeballing it, is that too much?
A little, if
bit,
you just kind of
yeah.
want to,
Yeah.
take it and then just roll it out the long way.
Okay,
Yeah, perfect.
okay.
Yeah.
And then up, up,
And kind of tuck that in, yeah. Yep.
and then over,
Sides.
over,
Yep.
tight,
Roll
tight,
it.
tight, tight, tight.
Perfect. You did it.
Boom.
That
Was
looks
that okay?
great. That looks perfect.
Watch it come out later.
No, it all
That's
fits
what
together.
Julianne did. Okay, and just like this?
Yep,
you were
just
saying?
right next to
Just
it.
right next to it.
Yep.
Do they have to be like super snug, like a bug in a rug?
They
or-
do.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
yes, super stuff. So if you want to do that one, and I'll
I
grab
do.
some more. I'll grab some more
boy.
cabbage.
Okay, go grab some more cabbage.
All right.
Okay. I'm rolling, rolling, rolling. Yes, I'm rolling some cabbage today. Dee, 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 dee. Agnes's mom was named Janet, and my mom's name was Janet. So I decided to channel my Janet today and sing a quirky little song, which was definitely her trademark.
It's funny when my mom and I would sit and roll the grape leaves. She'd always be looking over. Are you rolling them tight enough? And she'd always be like checking my work.
Checking your work. Oh, it's so sweet.
Yes, I am.
And did she teach you to bake as well?
Not as much baking as cooking. She loved to cook in the kitchen. So I spent a lot of time. She was a phenomenal cook. So I spent a lot of time in the kitchen, just like this, just talking to her and watching her and learning from her. And then Sundays would come around and she would say, okay, what do you want me to cook tonight? Or what do you want me to cook for dinner? So we'd always have kind of like an early dinner on Sunday, whatever my favorite thing was or whatever we were craving at the time, she would make it. And I'm so glad, because then I've got a love of cooking now too, and I really enjoy it. And it's actually kind of a stress reliever for me, you know.
I mean, you've got a really big job running Valley Lahvosh, so it's nice to come home at the end of the day, isn't it? And just do a
Yes.
little chopping.
Yeah.
How
So-
many employees do you have now?
We've got 27
Oh, wow.
employees. Yeah,
Wow.
27. So it's a great crew of people.
That's pretty incredible when you think about how far Valley Lahvosh's products reach. Their bakery started in downtown Fresno in 1922 with Agnes's grandfather, Agnes Saghatelian, and it's still operating in its original historic location today. Their pita bread and cracker bread, including those famous hearts, have gone from a local Armenian bakery to products enjoyed by people across the country. And for Agnes, that love of business started early. Even in high school and college, she knew she had that same drive her mother Janet and grandfather had before her.
I would love for my daughter to learn how to make this and, get her involved.
Do you think she's going to take over the business? Or?
I don't know. I don't know yet. Yeah, she's
don't
still
wanna
trying
pressure,
to see what she's interested in.
Yes,
and
of course. I grew up in a family business.
You did.
Ed's Radiator Service.
Oh,
Best place in town to take a leak. That was my grandpa's slogan.
Oh my God.
And yeah, but I think it was always pretty clear that we kids weren't going to go that route.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really our jam. As a teenager, most of my summers were spent working in the office at my dad's shop. It's great when kids can play a role in family small businesses, and who knows, maybe Agnes's lovely daughter Danielle will play a role in the bakery someday. In any event, we were thrilled to have her with us for the Dolma lesson.
Thank you.
Do you want to do one?
Sure.
Haha. Okay. All right. Okay, girl.
All right, you ready?
So we cut this little tough part out, and now your mom can show you the rest.
Yeah. So grab some of the meat.
Like that?
Yeah.
That much?
No, a little bit more than that. Yeah. Start with that, and you can lay that down, and just kind of over the center here, like where the top is.
Okay.
Yeah. Put it like that, and then I'd grab a little bit more meat.
Yeah, girl. Don't go. Don't
And
make
then
it
kind of
so
use your hands to kind of like make it. Yeah. Spread it out a little bit more. Yeah. Perfect. And then you take one side, roll it over, and the other side. Yes, and then kind of snug that in tight, like on the bottom. And then before you start rolling, tuck in those sides like a burrito over here. And then roll it up like that. Scoop that side in. Yeah, perfect. Great.
There you go.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome.
And there you have the transmission of knowledge among the generations.
Now you can help Mom every Christmas. Yeah. I think that's good.
Watching Agnes with her daughter made me think back to how she described learning from her own mom. How her mother, Janet, would check if her grape leaves were rolled tightly enough. And now Agnes is doing the same for Danielle. It made me think about the things we take with us from our own mothers that don't always resonate until later. Then one day you hear yourself saying something in the same way, and you realize how much of them that you carry with you.
Yeah, so I'm encouraging her to maybe travel a little bit with me and just kind of go to some trade shows and see what that all looks like. But yeah, and then just tuck it in and roll it. Perfect. Great.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's better than my last one.
Very nice. Yeah, you'll get better the more you do. Yes. Hint, hint.
And that's that's a mom hint.
Yes. Yeah. That looks beautiful.
I feel very accomplished. Thank you.
You should. That is a beautiful pot of cabbage dolma. So the next thing I do is I'll take some more tomato sauce, and it's 8 ounces, and then I just pour that all over. And then you take the juice of 2 lemons, and then I put in a little bit of chicken broth, just to give it a little bit of flavor. And then I put in a little bit of water, just so it gets filled up. So that mixes all of the lemon juice and the broth and the tomato sauce and the water, and then take it over to the stove. It'll come to a boil, and then once it's at a boil, we'll bring it down to just a simmer, and then it will simmer for about 45 minutes.
So while we're waiting for our dolma to cook, shall we have some treats?
I would love that.
All right.
Yes.
I thought you could maybe tell us a little bit about your family, Josiah, right?
Yes, Josiah.
And your grandmother.
Sure. So my grandfather came to the United States in the early 1900s to escape what was happening in Armenia, and they ended up settling for a brief period of time in Lynn, Massachusetts.
I have a grandmother who was born there.
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
so I think a lot of people went there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So settled there for a brief period of time, and then ended up finally settling in Fresno, in downtown Fresno. And so that property where the bakery is still standing right now, that corner, that property was purchased, and they built the bakery on that corner, and their family home was right next door to the bakery, back then. It was a beautiful neighborhood with lots of Armenian families, and so they lived downtown and they worked downtown, and that's how everything really got started. Just evolved from there, and the bakery, the corner shop, is still located there, and it's declared a historical landmark. So that corner business, through the years, we've expanded down through the block. Now we take up an entire block length. In 1985, there was an expansion. So we've stayed downtown in that original location, and so the store is open every Friday, but we're still making the lavash every day of the week and shipping that out. So it's evolved from that, and it's a beautiful brick building.
Well, what about now, when he came, am I correct to understand that the pita recipe was made here?
So yes, that's my understanding too, that Josiah created the pita loaf and formulated that and created that. and made it round, and then used his fingers, poked the holes in the center to create that circle center, and then sprinkled it, put some egg wash, sprinkled it with sesame seeds to make it pretty. And my mom had always said that he created this bread to commemorate his new life, in America, and just starting out fresh and starting out new here. And so, yeah, they made beautiful, beautiful loaf breads, all different types, and that's what started everything.
He once told me that Jezire came from Mush, is that right?
Yes, so he came from the village of Mush, and then my grandmother was from the village of Bitlis.
As we talked more about where Agnes's family came from, I showed them a site I've been using for reference called hushamadian.org. It helps reconstruct Ottoman Armenia town and village life. And for me, it's been one of the few ways to really picture the places our family came from, kind of fill in the missing details. It shows old photographs of the families who lived there and maps that give us a better sense of where these places were and how close they were to one another. Agnes's grandfather Jezire brought his baking skills from Armenia to America, and remarkably, more than a century later, that same work has grown into a family business still thriving today.
It's changed so much, and we make the Lahvosh now, which is really that's what's grown the company, and so that's what we sell all across the United States, and that's just obviously started out with the big large rounds, and then has now just developed to a lot of different shapes and sizes. So yeah, I mean, looking back, to think that it's stayed active and in business and in the family for over 100 years is pretty remarkable.
And the American dream, I would say that you guys are a prime example of that. It's just so amazing. But what truly is one of Valley Lahvosh's most well-known products are their heart-shaped crackers. And they were the innovation of Agnes's mom, Janet, who became president of the company in 1982.
And so, she was a very strong businesswoman, and she said, I want to make a heart-shaped cracker. And they said, oh, lady, no one's ever going to buy a heart-shaped cracker. You're crazy. What are you doing, heart-shaped cracker? She said, I don't care. I want to make a heart-shaped cracker. So she made contact with the company that makes the cutters and ordered the cutter, had it brought in. And I've got pictures up in the bakery of the day that cutter first arrived. And so she had them put it on the oven and ran the first batch of hearts back in, I think it was 1983. And we're producing them still to this day. We've been producing them ever since, and it's still our #1 selling retail item. And it's what we're known for. It's what we're known for, that heart shape. If somebody says, oh, Valley Lahvosh, they're not familiar, and I go, oh, the little heart-shaped crackers, and then
I always say it's the one, like if people, like if my friends ask me or my teachers, I always say it's the bakery with the heart crackers.
Right.
Yeah. And we've even incorporated that slogan into our logo, the bakery with a heart, because that's really what started all of the different shapes.
How about you? Do you have any memories? I know that your grandma was really young, right?
Yeah, she was 72.
Or no, you were young when she passed.
She was 72, I think, right?
Yes, when
yeah, and I was only 2. But I have so many pictures with her, and she wrote me a lot of little notes in her handwriting and stuff. So I still know she's with me every day.
Yeah, and I'm looking up. That's actually an older photo. That was one of the original portraits that we used for our packaging. So it's a picture of my grandfather, Jezire, my mom, myself, and now we have kind of an updated version, but that's on all of our packaging. Yeah, we were really close, and I just look at that and I think, wow, he had a daughter that took on his legacy, and now his granddaughter and his great granddaughter, and so yeah, it's kind of wonderful to see all that.
And what do you admire most about your mom or the family business?
I would say she's very hardworking, and she's done it all by herself, which is very inspiring to me, and she's constantly reminding me that I can do stuff. And she also doesn't make it discouraging for me to ask for help. Like if I'm struggling with something or need assistance, she's always there to help me. But she's also made me very comfortable in the sense that I can do stuff on my own way, and I can be strong and I can be independent, which I really like, and I'm just really proud of her because she's the strongest woman I know.
Oh yeah, yes.
So sweet, honey. Thank you.
Well, it's really incredible to me that you were willing to take time from your busy schedule today.
My pleasure.
I'm so thrilled that you did.
Yeah, me too. People are going to be wondering where I am today.
All right, well, after all this wonderful conversation, I'm ready for some dolma. Our cabbage dolma has been cooking for about 45 minutes, and it smells divine in Agnes's kitchen. I really lead with my nose. My nose tells me what's good, and this smells really good.
So I usually just cut off a little piece. It's gonna be pretty hot.
It's gonna be hot, yeah. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Oh, that's good. I mean, I could see myself almost kind of mashing it up and turning it into a soup, and then having some lavash and scooping it up.
Wonderful. Or taking some fresh pita, and you tear off some, and then you soak up the.
Oh, can we do that?
Oh, sure, of course.
Let's not. Why be theoretical?
Right. Let's do it for real.
Okay. Yeah. Now this
Let
is
it
how.
soak up the-
Yeah. This is how I want to do it. Right here.
So good.
Oh yeah. That's the perfect bite right there. I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe she's with us.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. She would be so proud.
Work it, girl.
I don't know why. I only make it once a year.
I'm gonna be making it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'll be making this. Look at me eating the whole thing. I really do pig out on screen. I don't know.
Production funding for Jules' Armenian Kitchen is provided by Fowler Packing Company. 3 generations of family farming in California's Central Valley, bringing Peel citrus and Sampson's grapes to families nationwide. More information at fowlerpacking.com. Ohanians of Fresno. For more than 40 years, Ohanians has preserved Armenian culinary traditions through handcrafted products rooted in heritage, quality, and craftsmanship. What began in the Central Valley is now shared nationwide. For more information, visit ohanians.com.